Welcome to No Fun Channel. I'm Felix. I wanted to start off this podcast talking about New Year's resolutions. The main reason I wanted to talk about it is I was watching Shits and Gigs, and Fuhead had talked about how many have kept up with their New Year's resolutions. It wasn't until about the last 10 minutes that I really connected with him. James is more focused on working out, which I don't do. I'm out of shape, and I'm probably going to end up staying that way, unfortunately. And I just don't work out. I used to work out, and it's like I have the body of a guy that used to work out. Is basically what I have. I was never ripped, but still. But the other three, Fuhad, Ellis, and Remy, I really connected with what they were saying. Like I said, it was the last 10 minutes here. I'm going to watch it, and I'll probably jump in here and there just to give my 2 cents. But yeah, the last 10 minutes, I don't know why, it just hit the hardest for me. Let me bring it up here.
Ellis.
That's cool, man. I don't know. I think one thing that puts in my head like the other day, I just want to be a lot more confident.
Okay.
I want to work on being more confident.
Okay.
That's my brother.
I love that for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very really.
What does that look like
Facts, yeah. Let's get into it.
for you? Fucking let's. By the way, we have an episode. I think it's like episode 82 or something. It's called like therapy session or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
The amount of
Patreon
people that DM me about that episode all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Let's pull it up. It's a part 2, my bro. What the fuck does that look like for you, Ellis? Let's really get deep.
Jesus. I don't know, man. Just little things, really. Just being more like, if something's on my mind, say it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tiptoe around it.
Mhm.
Just fucking say it.
I do that a lot. I'll have something in my head. Yeah, I need to say something to someone, and I don't say it. And then I'm mad at myself because I didn't say it. I tiptoe around things. In some cases, I don't say anything because I already know how the person's going to respond. And it's just like, I don't want to be bothered. But at the same time, I get mad because I didn't say it. All right, let's see.
Just like it's just little stuff,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
like socially and stuff. Like it's like
It's freeing, isn't it?
crowd.
It's freeing, bro.
This is a real. We're bonded
It's
today.
an episode.
Keep going, Ellis.
Keep
Please
going,
keep
bro.
going.
Keep going.
Yeah, just
loving
like
this.
socially as well. Like
Yeah.
when there's like big places and social anxiety and all this bullshit.
Right, let go, man.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
I was trying to hold it.
Yeah.
That was a game of chicken, innit? Yeah.
Get sweaty.
I was sweating. Sorry, Ellis. Sorry.
No,
Carry on.
that's about it, really. Just just being a bit more upfront in a good way, not in a rude way or anything. But yeah, just speaking my mind a little bit more, and when I have ideas, just address them. And yeah, I don't really know how to word it.
Just stop muzzling yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically stop. Like
Do you think do you when you exhibit this like lack of confidence or like not speaking, are you present in the moment that you're not doing it? Like, is there a moment where you're like, I want to say this thing, but I'm not? Or is it like a hindsight thing?
Block.
Is there's a physical block right there?
There's literally a block where it's like, just do this, and then it's like, and then it's like battling in my head, and then it ends up doing nothing.
Is it a fear of response from us or whoever you're in the room with?
I'd say so. Yeah, probably. Yeah, or what it is, a lot of the time, it's coming across the wrong way.
Okay.
I used to get it all the time. Like in my old jobs, for example, I'd get worried about saying certain stuff that it come across in a wrong way.
So it's the articulation.
So like, yeah. So it's like, because I've said stuff before, and then like people thought I meant one thing, like I was annoyed or something. And it's like I'm not. But I think that's where it comes from a bit. Like people's responses, but also like, yeah, like am I actually communicating myself clearly and well? Or people getting the wrong end of the stick, and it's like, oh fuck, and then it's just like I just don't want to say that because it's just, you know what I mean. But yeah, that's one thing.
For me, that wasn't the case in that I was worried about them taking it the wrong way. I've had the I don't care about you attitude for a long time. I just wanted to make sure I could get it out. Well, actually, I guess if I'm being honest, it was about taking the wrong way because I didn't want to get into a fight. I didn't want to get into an argument. And I was that guy that would never ask a question in a meeting. And I've started asking questions in meetings in my last couple jobs, mainly because usually it's because I wanted to work on speaking so I could go interview for another job. But yeah, for me it was more for me it was just lack of confidence. If I'm being real about it, I wasn't worried about them. I was worried about me looking like a fool. I didn't want to come off as someone who asked a stupid question. I didn't want them to think I was stupid or foolish or anything like that. So I think that's why that part I was a little it's a little hard for me to answer, because now that I really think about it, it's more just my lack of confidence and just being afraid of how I look. Basically, I was worried about how the other person saw me, not so much hurting their feelings or anything. Just I didn't want to be seen as stupid by asking a stupid question. But then I've gotten to the point I don't care. I'm just going to ask a question, because there have been times where I've asked a question, you think it's a stupid question, all of a sudden you realize, oh yeah, we didn't think about that. So basically, I'm taking more risks when it comes to asking questions these days.
That's hard,
It's
bro.
a cool thing to work on.
Thank you for opening up,
Yeah.
bro. That's
Love that.
hard shit.
Love that. Well played, man.
So, yeah.
Give up,
Gotta be
fellas.
honest with yourself, innit?
GG's.
Remski.
Remski?
You're up.
Resolutions. So I set myself content creation.
I think I was calling him Remy. If I did, I meant Rem. I think they call him Remy. Maybe that's why I was calling him Remy. And is that Donald Glover on his laptop? Sorry, just noticed that.
Practicing bass guitar, and I have started those things. I've got back on that, practicing. I've been streaming again, got a routine, streaming Sundays, Wednesdays, and yeah, I've decided to try to knock these walls down that I place up myself. Like nobody builds that brick wall in front of you that says, or rarely in my particular case anyway, no one's built this brick wall in front of me that says, oh well, I can't do something, I can't create something. I've built that wall and I'm sat behind it like, well, I just don't want to do anything now, or I'm not in the mood to do something now. There's always going to be these different walls and it's up to me to just knock them down and just do whatever I need to do, whatever it is I've said I'm going to do, and just follow through with it.
The way he talks about walls, it seems like it actually got to him. And I can relate to that. That's what I said. Ella's, Rem, and Fuhead, their statements hit hardest. Rem was talking about walls, and when he was talking about it, I felt it, because I do that to myself. I purposely block myself. The only person stopping me is me. I've always believed that. It's the sad part. Is the only person stopping you is you. Maybe those rare, super rare cases, someone else is in your way. But then again, you just got to get around them. Yeah. Like doing the podcast or doing reviews, how I started just kind of building up my confidence to be on camera. I was stopping me. I should have done this back in my 20s. I kept talking about. I've been talking about it since my 20s. I'm in my late 40s, just now starting this. Who knows where I could be if I started all the way back then and just stuck with it. But yeah, I'm definitely that guy that puts up walls and doesn't take them down. I just keep adding, building more walls, more walls, more walls. So what he was saying really hit close to home for me.
Tiredness. Everyone's tired, man. We've all been tired since we were 13 years old. Like, it's just one of those things. And to just make sure that I just stay on top of what I say I'm going to do and just do it. Life's short and we don't have all the opportunities that we think we have. Touch wood, but anything can happen, man. And yeah, a couple of losses in my family in the 23 last year, and it just made me think, man. Like, I have conversations in my head about what conversation. I have thoughts in my head about what the conversations with them would look like if they were still here, and they're always encouraging to me. Telling me to do stuff and just jump on this, jump. who's stopping me? You know, it's me. So yeah, I've started. I'm on my content, on streaming, practicing stuff. I'm ignoring tiredness, and I'm doing it.
Cool.
I'm doing it. So, yeah.
You know, it's funny. He's talking about tiredness. I was supposed to start this at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. It is now. What time is it? Can't see my clock. It's 9:38. I'm just getting started. I just started at like 9:30. No, I actually may have started at 9, but I kept restarting. So yeah, so I spent a half hour procrastinating basically. Well, more than a half hour since seeing how I was supposed to start at 6. But yeah, I had to force myself to come and do this. My goal is to always do this podcast Monday and Tuesday, get it recorded, then have it edited and ready to go by Sunday. I like to get ahead and have at least one ready to go. But with this podcast, the way I'm doing it, I don't think that's going to be possible. Just because I'm just chit-chatting about whatever pops in my head. But yeah, Remy, I'm right there with Remy as well, where I do procrastinate, I do put things off, but now I'm forcing myself to do them. So if you had, he'll touch on that as well.
That was fucking gorgeous.
Obviously,
Thank you for that, bro.
we didn't give a round of applause for James, but give it up for James.
Thank you, guys.
Let's go.
Your turn, Daddy.
My turn. The reason why I asked this question is because I've seen myself change over the past, when this comes out, 14 days. There are probably 2 or 3 major things I feel like I have started to change and I am willing to continue to change about myself. First thing is, to piggyback off what you said, I'm a massive procrastinator. I said that last year, I said that the year before, I said that probably the year before that as well. I am in a space where if I think I need to do something, I'm doing it then and there.
That's where I want to get to, actually. I want to get to that headspace where I know it needs done. I need to write down. And I'm really bad about writing. I have a notebook. I need to find a notebook and just start writing down as soon as something pops in my head. But yeah, I'm trying to get into that headspace too. So I think that's why these 3 I hit home for me, the way they're talking. They hit on everything that I'm experiencing and everything I'm fighting through.
Not in the space to do it, i.e. I'm driving or I'm cooking or something, I'll write that bitch down so I never forget it, and I'll do it at the earliest convenience. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm really, you guys know I hate scripts. You guys know I hate acting.
Yeah.
I am really going to push myself to get into my creative bag.
Gang.
And I want to do that, like you said, again, to piggyback off what you said, I'm the only one stopping me from doing that. And I think it's probably a fear of not being that person before and not knowing how I would see myself in that creative space. But fuck it. This is our safe space. So why?
And this is also why I can relate to Fuhad, in that I have stopped being creative, and doing the reviews actually helped me want to be creative again. So I got that mentality right now. I'm trying to just say, fuck it and go for it. So we'll see what happens. I'm still pushing myself. We'll see what happens.
Can't I just be in my creative bag and just do what I want, you know? So that's another thing I really want to push on as well. Number 3, to pick it back on what James said, I've also started therapy as well, and I'm going to continue doing that.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, he talked about therapy. I must have blocked it out because I'm not doing therapy. For me to do therapy will require me to trust someone, and I don't trust people, unfortunately. So, yeah, therapy, I'll probably end up never... I'm not discouraging therapy. Therapy works for a lot of people, and therapy's not for everyone. So, but James did talk about that. He talked about how it allowed him to be himself and really be open. I think the main reason, I didn't connect with it is because therapy is not my thing.
Throughout the rest of the year. And
I do want to say one more thing. Therapy is not my thing. It's not a black thing because they're both black doing therapy. There's a lot of black people doing therapy. I hate that stereotype. Like I said, for me, it has to do with trust. And I'm not just going to open up to a stranger. And that's therapy you got to do for years before you open up to someone, really. And yeah, I'm not doing that. So yeah, trust is a very big thing with me. If you break my trust in any way, shape, or form, if I feel like you broke my trust, it's over.
And another one to continue off the Floop challenge. Throughout my whole life, I feel like, I say my whole life, probably like my adult life, I've always, if it's something I like, I continue to eat that bitch. Do you know what I mean? Like, my gluttony is real. My gluttony is so real. Like, I am, as weird and little as this sounds to other people, for me, if I'm going to make food or have food or whatever, I'm going to have a smaller portion first. And then if I get hungry again, have another portion instead of having a fucking massive plate, feeling lazy, feeling tired, which is a knock-on effect because it stops me from going to the gym, it stops me from leaving the yard. Like little things like that affect my whole day. So I'm going to break it down bit by bit, probably have 5 meals a day instead of like a breakfast and 2 large meals. Do you see what I'm saying? And that changes my mood throughout the whole day. That changes how I feel. That changes how I look at myself. And I'm going to keep doing that going forward. Be more active as well. On days that I don't do anything or days that I'm free.
I can relate to all that. I do that too. If there's food, I'm eating it. I have gotten better. I try not to eat as much. Like if I get fast food, I try to get medium or just a burger. I'll get just a burger, no fries, no drink, and just get the burger. And I'm just doing little things like that, trying to cut back, not eat as much. Am I succeeding all the time? No, of course not. But I'm trying. I haven't totally given up. I said before, I'm not going to punish myself if I have a failure here and there. But I'm also going to be realistic. I know I'm failing. But I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep pushing myself when it comes to the diet. I'm going to end it here. But yeah, that is something I can relate to, everything they were saying. Like I said, the therapy part is not for me. It's not for everyone. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try it. Well, listen to me talking about encouraging therapy and not doing it myself. But yeah, therapy is just not for me. It's not something I can do. I can't just trust anyone. I can't even do it anonymously because my fear is they'll figure out who I am. I know how I am around people. And if I get a hint that you betrayed me, it's over. I'm going to shut down and be like, no, forget it. But yeah, just their therapy session episode was hitting home there. Since I still have them up, there was something else I wanted to touch on. They play a game that I love, I'm loving here. Let's see here. Oh, here, they call it Who Am I? James reads off a description of the character, and you got to guess who it is. He read off the description. I'm not going to play it right now. But he read off the description, and the first one he did was, I don't remember what the first one was. But the first one he did, I actually got it on the first guess. He'll do 3 parts or 4 parts, and then he'll ask anyone who's got to guess. And I got it on the first one. The second one was Neo. I got that one on the first one. Nah, it's getting better of me. Now I got to go back and see who the first one was. What was the first one? It's going to kill me. I got to go find it. The first one was Harry Potter. Got that one right off. The second one was Neo. And the third one was Goku. Now, the first 2, I got it from the first clue. The third one, though, I thought it was Luffy because he talked about going on a treasure hunt. But it wasn't until the second one where he said, I have a son, and I've trained him. And I'm like, oh, Goku, treasure hunt. They're going after the Dragon Balls. And then he talks about, one of the clues he gives, this sissy bruh. Did he say sissy? I can't remember. Basically, he said flamboyant guy. Start some trouble, and I was like, that's Frieza. But yeah, it took the second part for me to get it, but I like it. I may have to record one and do a react to it maybe. But yeah, Shits and Gigs is definitely one of my favorite podcasts. But yeah, it's interesting. That triggered me when they were talking about New Year's resolution. It was just interesting. But one thing for New Year's resolution, try not to make New Year's resolutions, but I kind of did because I'm trying to do more stuff. Try to do for myself instead of putting other people first. And I can say my family, my kids, and my wife have been really good about leaving me alone when I come into the office to do this stuff. So I'm really grateful for that. That they know I want to do this, so they're leaving me alone. And one of the things I've been working on is my book. I finished my book finally. Do I think it's going to be a bestseller? No. I would like it to at least sell 5 copies to people I don't know. That's my goal. Literally, that's my goal. So my goal is to sell 5 copies and go from there. Now, I got to research how to... Oh, did my voice just change? What the... So I got to research how to self-publish and also how to... not how to, but I need to make a cover. I want to make the cover myself. I've been looking at like the average cover size and try to create a cover. I need to find a template for it. See if I can search the internet for a template. I might put a few images in there from where I describe some characters. Just put them the way I want people to view them. I may or may not do that, depending on how I feel. Right now, I'm leaning towards not doing it. Just let people imagine whatever they want to see themselves in it. The only one that you won't be able to imagine as yourself is the lead character unless you're black. I do state that the main character is black because it's me. I wrote the book as though it was me experiencing this adventure. And the first book I really tried to write, I gave the character a fake name, just a made-up name. But then I realized I'm just going to put me in there. I'm going to have it be me because I want to live these adventures. So that's what I've been doing. And yeah, so I got one thing down. My next thing is I'm working on my graphic novel. This year, I'm going to finish let me rephrase that. I'm going to try to finish it this year. I'm going back and redoing some of the images. I knew they were crap when I was doing them, but my goal was just to finish it, and I never finished it. So I'm going to go back, start over. And I had a cover made for it, but I'm going to redo the cover because I've always hated the cover. It looks like a amateur drawing, and I can draw way better than that. Sometimes I'll draw, it's like my skills go out the window when I'm actually trying. But if I don't try, it turns out fantastic. It's like, how is that? How is it that when I draw and I try it, it's crap, but when I don't try, it comes out fantastic? It's like, can I get it to come out fantastic whether I try or not, please? Yes. I think there's a mental block when I'm purposely trying to get it. So I'll work on that. Actually, along the lines of being creative, another thing I've always wanted to do is start my own clothing line. And not just for like men or women, but for both. In this day, I want to get away with making like gender neutral clothing. I think that'd be something. So that way it's not geared towards men or women. Either way can wear it. So, and for the women, all my clothing, all my pants will have pockets. I never understood that. Why don't your clothes have pockets? And I don't know if anyone else has noticed, it's not just the pockets, but belt loops. You guys don't have belt loops. And women do wear belts, but how come a lot of your pants don't have belt loops either? That's always weirded me out. And how can you be a size 0? That's nothing. So, fortunately, ladies, mine will be real sizes. They won't be a size. There will be no size 0. But yeah, it's just interesting. The things I want to do, the things I'm trying to do. I did talk about not upgrading the equipment, but I actually started looking at cameras because there was a couple cameras I looked at, and there was a couple under $100 I thought about getting. But there were a couple cameras I was looking at just on Amazon. I couldn't find any place to buy like used equipment. Because I figured there got to be a lot of YouTubers or influencers getting rid of their equipment because, it just didn't work out for them. So I thought, I could probably get a deal on that. But so far, I haven't really found anything. I haven't looked on eBay. I don't do eBay. No particular reason. I just don't do eBay. I used to do it, but I've stopped. Actually, I think my wife still has an account. Maybe I'll see about using her account. But yeah, it's just... there's a lot of the equipment's a lot cheaper now, so maybe I'll look into getting a camera, get a better quality video and microphone. Right now, I use Audacity to clean up the audio. I think my biggest fear is getting this equipment and then quitting, which is why I don't want to spend money. So, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that. I am going to hold off on it. I'm going to spend a year on this and see how I feel at the end of it. Because if I go and buy all that equipment and I don't want to do it anymore, it's going to suck that I have this equipment. Twice used equipment doesn't usually resell too well. But, yeah, that's I'm still having hangups doing the podcast. The last podcast, I thought I was doing better, but when it came time to do this one, I froze up. And like I said, I restarted multiple times trying to get it going. And what's weird is once I get going, I'm doing good. So I think that's why also the therapy episode of Shits and Gigs at home, that was my therapy. See, I don't need therapy. I just need to watch Shits and Gigs. But yeah, it was weird. When I heard him talking, it's just like, oh, I can relate to that 100%. And it's just like, oh man. But yeah, I just don't understand my mental block sometimes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Because there are times, like I said, I was supposed to start at 6. I came up here, got my shirt on. I work from home, so I'm usually in a t-shirt, but I wanted to put a regular shirt on. Because the t-shirt in question is not screen-worthy. It's got stains in it that will never come out, and it's like permanent stains from various things. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I still get that block. I do feel like I'm getting used to this. Actually, I feel like I'm sinking in my chair. I do need a new chair. That's something else. I've had this chair since, well, I'm fat too, so that doesn't help. But I've had this chair for a long time. Probably 2024, 4 years. So you got an overweight man sitting in a chair that's probably not rated for him. So it's finally taking its toll. It's an old chair. It's certainly good. I got it for free. So my office where I still work, they were throwing the chairs out. They were brand new chairs. And the reason they were throwing them out is because they were the wrong color. The department ordered the wrong color, and they were going to throw them out. I was like, wait. I looked these chairs out. These are not cheap chairs. I was like, can I have one? Like, yeah. So I grabbed one and put it as my office chair. And they still had a plethora of them. I went and grabbed another one, threw it in my car. I was like, and we ended up all doing that. The one of those of us who were over there, we grabbed them and threw them in the car. I was like, put them as an office chair and threw them in the car. It's like, you're throwing these away because they were wrong color. Are you kidding me? But free perk. So yeah, that was an interesting day. Because I saw these chairs. I said, hey, what's wrong with these chairs? Wrong color. What? Okay, so what do you got? We're throwing them away. It's like, it was so wasteful. It's like, why not give them to another department or just put them in storage or something? But no, they were throwing them away. Because they were the wrong color. I'm like, that's so ridiculous. So we took them, brought them home. Yeah, that was so weird that day. It's just like, we all just like, wait, you're what? But back to the book. Like I said, I did finish my book. I'm happy about that. The weird thing about my book, when I got towards the end of writing my book, because I talked about not being able to end it, I went dark. I went super dark with it. And I was sitting there and I'm reading it like, this is dark. It's not how I wanted it. And I didn't want it to go this dark. So I deleted it and rewrote it. But once I got going, getting the ending I wanted, I ended up adding like 2 more pages. So it's 89 and a half pages. So 90 pages. So yeah, I got me a book and I'm actually going to try to get it published. Unless it causes an arm and leg. I saw a scam where they talk about pay us $14,000 or $1,400. Like, I feel like it says $14,000, but anyways, they were talking about pay us and we'll publish your book, and like that's a bit steep. And it was a scam. They're supposed to be a publishing company, like they're publishers, not self-publishing, just a publishing company. Like the author pays them though. Like no, that's not how that works. Publishers come to you and they pay you for your book. But yeah, I gotta watch out for that. I talked about doing the 1 minute review of YouTube shows. I haven't started that. No particular reason, actually. I think what happens is focused on the podcast, and then I just haven't sat down. Maybe I'll sit down tomorrow, because right now I'm tired. So I'll sit down tomorrow, and that's why because I got to gather some information. I was gonna get like a few things, their banner, their logo, use it in the video, and make sure I get their link and stuff. And I also want to see some people have QR codes. Maybe I'll check to see if they have QR codes and put it. I wonder if I can create my own QR code for them. You can put it in, you can tap with your phone, you can get straight to their YouTube channel. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird that I finished my book. I know it sounds crazy, but it just feels weird to me that it's finished. And then I'm actually going to try to get it published. But I am going to work on my graphic novel. My graphic novel is definitely next. I've been working on it for a long time. Technically, I finished the graphic novel. I did like rough, super stick figure, rough sketches of what I wanted to do. And I was going back and actually drawing it and putting it together. I thought about starting a reaction channel, but I'm going to hold off on that because to me it feels like too much. So I'll hold off on that for right now. Because I'm doing all the editing. It'd be different if I wasn't doing all the editing. I can still do reaction. I'll just do it on this channel. I'm not going to start a separate channel. I got a list up in front of me and stuff, and I was looking at this, something I wrote on there. Try new things and stay positive. When I wrote that, I had something in mind, and now I can't remember what I had in mind when I wrote that. I get the stay positive thing. I'm trying to stay positive, trying to look at the positive outcome of everything, trying not to be so negative. Even with the book, like I said, my goal is to sell 5 copies. I want to stay positive, but I also want to stay realistic. I'm not going to trick myself into thinking that I'm going to have a #1 bestseller. I know better than that. But also, I look at the positive that there are a bunch of crappy books out there. So mine's just one more book out there, sell a few copies. Who knows? Maybe I'll luck out and get a cult following. Yeah, if I did get a cult following, I might get a TV show out or a TV movie. Who knows? That's looking positive right there. Try new things. What was I thinking when I wrote that? Something popped in my head and I don't remember what it was. I cannot remember. Try new things. I still haven't started Moho. I need to do Moho. I feel like maybe I'm stretching myself too thin. I'm trying to do too much at once. It's stuff like this I wish I didn't have a job. Because then I could do Moho. I could fit it in there. But yeah. Trying new things. That is haunting me for some reason because I feel like it was something that popped in my head. Oh well. But there is one thing I keep staring at, and hold on a second. I'm going to grab it real quick. I have the razor. This is the old razor. I've had this. I don't even remember when this originally came out. But I still got it. I haven't charged it. I got to find a cord for it. Charge it. What's funny is we found this a long time ago, and then it got put up, and my daughter's, hey, there's that phone, that red phone. It had like 4 inches of dust on it. So we found it a couple of years ago. The dust was thick where it was sitting. Like, wow, we don't clean over here. We need to clean. But this phone was my first cool phone. I was one of the cool kids. I had a nice phone. It's still a nice phone, but it's weird. Like, I have this phone compared to this phone. When you look at that, it's just, there's basically the same length, but width-wise, it's like, shoo. It's like, wow. What's funny is, like, is Motorola still around? I don't even know if they're still around. I think they are. But, because they brought back the Razr. But, that's an LG phone, my other phone. And LG doesn't make phones anymore, which I think is hilarious. So basically I have 2 phones that aren't made anymore, sort of, because, like I said, they brought back the Razr. But yeah, this was my first full cool phone. When I got this phone, was I married? I think I was married. I think I just got married, or I was around that time. Because my wife had one too. I don't know where hers is. Does she have the same color? I can't remember if she had the same color. I don't think she did. But, every time I see this, it's just like, I actually miss having a phone like this. And I looked into the flip phones. They are too expensive. I'm not paying what they want for a flip phone. I wouldn't mind having a Razor again. Yeah. This was tiny, small, fit in my pocket, unfold it, fold it back up. See, I like playing with it. But, yeah. My first I was one of the cool kids, a Razor. I wonder if it's worth anything. I wonder if anything on there I need to delete if I ever try to sell it. That reminds me, I used to buy iPods back in the day off of eBay and fix them up and sell them. And I stopped doing it because there's not a market for it anymore, especially. But what's funny is I would also try and see what was on them because it was the ones I bought were broken and they said it didn't work anymore. Water damage, this or that. But I was able to access the memory on them, and I pulled off thousands of songs. I have so many songs now because of those iPods. And what's funny is there's some nudes as well. So people were taking nudes with those. I was like, first time I came across some nudes, it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting music. I actually forgot they had a camera on them. I was like, oh, okay, nudes. I actually thought I kept the nudes, but I think I deleted them. I can't find them, so I think I deleted them. But it's probably one of those things where in my head I'm like, oh, they're nudes, and I'm gonna keep these. But then I end up deleting them. So, but it's funny that if you're going to sell hardware, especially if it's hardware that you use to take pictures, I know you're thinking, oh, it's saved to the cloud. Yeah, you might want to double check that because you thinking it's not on there because you did X, Y, Z. Trust me, do a factory reset on that before you sell it. I feel like I'm sinking again in the chair. But so that's definitely something I need to do is get a new chair. But yeah, if you're going to sell hardware, make sure you do a factory reset on it. Make sure you clear it out. Go back through it. Make sure it's cleared out. Because the number of times I've come across the number of times I've come across images on stuff. At one point I was going to do cell phones. I didn't do that. But I did do Xboxes. And even on Xboxes, I came across people's games, save data, and all this stuff. And yeah, don't sell your hard drive with your game station. Destroy that. Seriously, don't sell your hard drive with your game station. Destroy that hard drive. Even if you're done, like 100% done playing video game, you're never going to play again, take that hard drive out and destroy it. Or if you think you might come back to it, store it somewhere. Or store your game system. But if you're going to sell it because you're on hard times, take that hard drive out. Because you think nothing's on it because you did X, Y, Z, and I come along and I pull everything that you've ever done on that hard drive off of it. And it is possible to do that. That's why like companies, when they get rid of their computers, they pull the hard drives out and they destroy the hard drive. They'll shred them. Because you can pull stuff off of that digital media. Don't go thinking you can't. But yeah, you can pull stuff off that digital media and that's that. It's over. You know. The company I work, they do that. They take out the hard drives and shred them. And they'll actually sell the cases and stuff. And I looked into that, like, oh, can I have that case? Like, oh, they have sellers. They have like a wholesaler. They sell it all too. So they make money off of them. But it was just like, it made sense to destroy the. There have been places that don't destroy the hard drives. They're like, oh, you don't destroy the hard. Well, we format them. You need to destroy that. even in today's media, you can still pull stuff off those hard drives. It's weird. Speaking of tech stuff, I hate it when people call in for help with their password and then they're like, this is so stupid. Why do I got to change my password? Because you probably have a weak password. We will lock people's account and they will purposely blank out their password and force them to reset it if it comes up that their password's too weak or somehow they've been compromised. If it turns out you've been compromised multiple times, we will definitely take away your internet access. And it has been done. It's like, I remember talking to a person who said, they told me they got a virus multiple times. The same virus. So at that particular job, I went straight to security, actually, our IT security. It was just like, hey, this person just told me they got the same virus multiple times. And I was able to retrieve all the information and I gave it to them and they were like, yeah, we're probably going to take away her internet access. And that's always bugged me. When people get these work computers, whether they on site or work from home, they use them like they're their personal computers. Like I'll see people doing their banking. When I worked in the bank, people were doing their banking. They get on computers, surf the net, be on YouTube. These are not your computers. And they would do Etsy, they would do eBay, they'd be doing everything. It's like, these are not your computers. What are you doing? I think the most I ever did was when I was in school, I would get my email and email myself something as a reminder, maybe a PDF file, but I read it through the virus scan. Did I do the PDF files? No, I think I may have done a PDF file. I was good at just sending PDF files to myself at work. And it was mainly because if I had downtime, I'd pull it up and read it as part of my schooling. But I never did anything crazy. I didn't go shopping. I didn't go crazy with it. It's just like, these are not your computer. I didn't do anything personal on them because I didn't want that coming back on me. But yeah, I see people doing all kinds of personal stuff on it. Like, I'll see people chatting, like someone on their personal computer doing all that stuff. That's one thing. But on work computers, like I'll see people have, what's that one browser? Someone had a Tor browser on the work computer. And it's just like, yeah, you can't have that. Because they couldn't get to work. It's like, yeah, there's a reason you can't get to work on these work computers. And we deleted it. I remember one job where a guy was talking about his golf game didn't work. I'm like, golf game? He installed a full golf game on his computer and it wouldn't work. It's like, yeah, because you can't have it on there. That's why it's not working. And my favorite was, I don't know how many people still do this, but they were using the recycling bin as I still know people still do this. I take that back. I remember having one not too long ago. But they use the recycling bin as a file folder. It's like, that's not what it's for. Don't do that. Now, really, the recycling bin is where you send your delete stuff. Then, if you want to get it back, you can. But overall, I've had people who filled up the hard drive because they were using the recycling bin as a file folder. And I'm going through all this stuff. Nothing's filled up. Where's all this? And now I look at the recycling bin. It's like 4 gigs in the recycling bin. It's like, what the? This is why your hard drive is full. This is why you don't have any more room. That is back when, having 5 gigs of hard drive space was all you needed. But, yeah, it's just like, this is why you have no space on your hard drive. You filled it up. What are you doing? But, I just realized it's been almost 50 minutes. Wow, I've been talking for almost an hour. Didn't even realize it. So maybe I can get more comfortable with this. And I peeked over my notes. One of the things I did when I talked about was technology, and I basically did that. Yeah, all that reminds me of I saw the Teslas. I remember a couple of years ago when Teslas were screwing up. You couldn't get in your Tesla because of the cold weather. And now the Tesla pumps are not working. So it's like, I am in no hurry to get an electric car. I'm good. You would think, especially with all these electric cars, that someone would make pumps the same way as gas pumps where you can pull up to them and charge your car. No matter where the pump, no matter where it's at on your car. But no one said that. Now, I wonder myself if you could take like the Ford electric car up to the Tesla pump, you can, but it's hard. The way they put the pump in there, the way they did it, it's just like, why did you put the charging port there? I think it should be in the front of the car, to be honest with you, the charging port. For the Fords, when I saw a Ford truck, because it's on the side, on the driver's side, and it's hard to get there. But if they put it on the front, you just plug it straight in. I have a little flap, plug it in. Put it on the front. They should all be on the front. Every single one of them. But yeah, I was just laughing when I saw this. I'm so happy I don't have that issue. Then I saw this guy had done a TikTok about warming your car up. And then someone well, actually, they didn't stitch his video. They downloaded the video and then made a video debunking his video. The debunker was 100% wrong. You actually should warm your car. It depends on the situation. In these super cold weather times right now, definitely warm your car up. Because that stuff can freeze. It can turn to slush. So warming your car up gets it going, gets it cycling. Now, I'm not saying sit there and warm it up for 2 or 3 hours, but at least a couple minutes, 5 minutes at the most, get it warmed up. But the comments were killing me, though, because he went back talking about this guy. Here's the thing. The debunker actually talked about warming your car up for a minute. It's like, you're still saying warm the car up. Then he's talking about drive for 15 minutes slow. No, I'm just going to let it warm up. You're an idiot. And I don't know where that myth came from that warming your car up is bad. It is a myth. There's nothing wrong with warming your car up. It doesn't hurt anything. I've done it to every car I have. I know mechanics who don't get it either where that myth came from. But what's funny is there are mechanics who think warming your car up is bad. But there's no evidence whatsoever proving that warming your car up is bad. I know someone will say, well, there's no evidence saying that it's good. Well, kind of there is, because the number of people that do it. The only downside to warming your car up, if you leave your doors unlocked, then your car is gone. Unless you have the keyless thing. But even then, sometimes you got to watch out with that keyless thing. Because I've seen it where people steal a car with no key, and they just keep going. They're gone. Because some cars will keep running once it started. I don't know how many still do that, but there were cars that once it started, it was gone. But a lot of cars, especially new cars, won't do that. If the key, you can start the car up, but if the key gets too far away now, it shuts off. So, that's why the keys were huge for getting stolen. So, I wonder if that's one of the reasons they got stolen so easily. Yeah, I think it was because they're talking about something. They didn't do something to a certain model key. Like the cheaper keys didn't have something in them. Don't cut corners, car companies. Because now keys are known as the easiest car to steal. But yeah. But looking at my list of things I wanted to talk about. And what's funny about this list is I just keep adding to it. I'm up to 24 items on here. Now, I'm not going to delete anything off because touch back on it again. Oh, yeah, I wanted to go back to that clothing line. I've always wanted to do a clothing line for as long as I can remember, actually. I think it would be cool to have my own clothing. I want to create my own characters and put on the shirts. Characters that don't exist, characters that I've created and put on my shirts. And maybe poses or doing stuff, just, different things. Maybe make it look like it's a comic book panel or manga panel and put it on the shirt. But I do also want to have polo shirts, shirts with collars, have my little symbol on them or something. Maybe have a symbol that blends in with the shirt, doesn't really stand out, but is there. And my symbol would just be like a Roman numeral 2. But I would have to figure out how to. I could just do Roman numeral 2. I got to copyright it, make sure no one can copy it. But yeah, if I can figure out how to do a clothing. Now, the clothing line is not something I'm going to try to do this year. But it's definitely something on my bucket list of things I want to try and do is the clothing line. Pants, like I said, women pants would have pockets. I would not design any women's pants without pockets. Even if I do skirts, they would have pockets and belt loops. again, what's with the belt loops? Just put belt loops on them. And there be no size zeros. Size 0 means you don't weigh anything, so I don't know. I would love to know how that got started. And I know people blame men for that, but I don't see that. But yeah, so I'm looking again at my list. I keep going back. The reason I'm looking at it now is to try to do things that's still bugging that crap out of me. Oh, maybe Japanese. I wanted to start learning another language. I don't know if I'll go straight to Japanese, but I definitely wanted to learn another language. From time, as long as I can remember, I always wanted to learn another language, but I never got the opportunity to do so. So maybe in February I'll see if I can find maybe like Babbel or what was that one? Rosetta. Is Rosetta Stone still around? Actually, I'd never see commercials for them, but I'll look into it and see if I can find one and start learning Japanese. Because I would love to be able to speak and read Japanese and watch anime without having to have the subtitles on. I wouldn't have to wait for the dub version to come out. But yeah, I feel like it's not it though to try something new. I'm trying to think, what else could it be? Try new things. I got to be more clear in my notes. Because one of my notes says, trying to find my focus. Well, I should try to find my focus and make clearer notes. I should have put that. But yeah, try new things. And I don't remember what it was. I wish I could remember what it was. The only thing I can think of was languages. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it. I could feel it. Oh, you know what? On my list I had My Cool Phone, which I did talk about the Razer Mobile Razor. So that one I can probably check off. I'm not going to bring that back up again unless something happens. But yeah, definitely having the list has helped out. I won't lie about that. It's definitely helped me just creating the list. Because I create the list just so I can remember things to do or things to talk about during the podcast. And I really haven't referred to it a lot unless I say I'm referring to the list. Because I started off with Shits and Gigs, which is not on my list. It was just about New Year's resolutions and me not following through on things, but I'm working on that. But there was one thing I wanted to talk about. I forget what product it was, but I think there was a recent baby product recall that made me think about it. A long time ago, we had a crib. Well, had two cribs. But a long time ago, we had a crib, and there was a recall on it. And the thing is, I call it a stupid recall. The reason I call it a stupid recall is when they used to have the drop side cribs, you could drop the side of the crib down or raise it all the way up. The reason I call it a stupid recall is people were putting that thing together upside down, and it would drop down and it could hurt the kid and stuff. Here's the thing. When I was putting that crib together, I almost put it upside down. But here's the thing. As I was trying to put it together upside down, it wouldn't go. And I started trying to force it. I was like, nah, I shouldn't have to force it. So I took it apart, took the side off, and I flipped it around, and boom, it went right together. The reason I call it a stupid recall is you would have to hammer that thing into place to get it to fit upside down. Of course, you can't find drop side cribs anywhere now. They got rid of all of them. I'm not saying all drop side cribs were stupid recall. Some probably were faulty. Actually, some were really faulty. They didn't stay up. They would just automatically drop not because they were put together wrong, just because it was bad design. But ours was not the case. You would have to hammer that thing. Because as soon as I saw the recall and they were talking about it, I called my mom and was like, Mom, you have to hammer that damn thing in order to get it to go in upside down. These people were forcing it. You forced the thing to go in the wrong way. If you just stopped and realized, why is this not going in? It should go in real easy. Could flip it around, boom, it would have worked just fine. And then there was that, what was that one product? If I find it, I'll throw up an image of it. But it was this product, it's still sold, I believe. But they did a recall, and I was like, that was a stupid recall. The reason I call them stupid recalls is because, or idiot recalls is what I should call them, because the people were using them wrong. It was a seat that the baby sat in, and They were talking, the babies are falling. The babies are falling. Come to find out, these seats were meant to go like in a seat, like a chair or on the floor. These people were setting them on the table, setting them on counters. They were setting them in places they weren't meant to go. So the baby was falling from the higher heights and getting hurt. And when you put them in the chair, you're supposed to strap them in. They weren't strapping them to the chairs. Like there was a thing to hook it to the chair. They weren't doing that. So we're suing the company because of bad product. I don't remember if the company had to pay out anything. It was the one time I hope the company didn't have to pay out anything because it was like, you're misusing the product. So that's not the company's fault. And I think I remember a news report where the people in the news report were like, well, it actually says not to put it on the table, not to put it on the counter. It says floor or chair or something like that. I was like, that is on you. You're looking to blame someone else. That's not their fault. That actually reminds me of Beavis and Butthead. This woman's kids burned down the house, and she blamed Beavis and Butthead. They used to go, fire, 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 fire. And kind of find out later on that kid was a firebug long before Beavis and Butthead. So it's like, it wasn't a kid. It wasn't Beavis and Butthead's fault. But MTV did kind of stop him from saying fire, fire. They would slip it in every now and again. Him was going, fire, fire. And, oh, yeah, I can't. But yeah, just take responsibility for your actions, really, is what it comes down to. Comes down to. And there was another thing I saw that just popped in my head since I still got the YouTube up from Shits and Gigs. Actually, I think it's in my notes too. Yeah, it is. The number of YouTubers retiring. And I was just thinking, if I had been doing this all the way back then, I could have been one of them. I could have been retiring. You know. But the reason they were retiring because they were just burned out, from what I understand. You know, the first one I saw was Meat Cannon, and the others I really didn't want. The only reason I knew about Meat Cannon was because of another YouTube channel, Internet City. Oh man, I drew a blank on her name. I've never actually watched Meat Cannon, like gone to his channel and watched it. I always watched it through the React channels. But yeah, all these people were retiring or just burned out. It's like, I watched a little bit of Meat Cannons. It was like it felt like he wanted to go in a different direction. Than, you know, he got tired of doing the same thing over and over, which I don't blame him. Trying to draw animation, trying to make a commentary on today's society and stuff, that'll burn you out. Yeah, so I hope he keeps up the animation and just goes in a different direction. Who knows, maybe he can like take in Meat Cannon Productions. I don't know if that was a thing, if he actually has it. Actually start shopping around, get a show on Adult Swim or Netflix or something, Hulu. Hulu's big about those cartoons like that. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that we're starting to see that now. YouTubers retiring and are actually doing retirement videos. What was that? Pat? I've never watched him either. But I guess he was crying in his. I think a couple of them were crying. And what was funny to me was the people making fun of them. Like, why are you making fun of them? I get why they're crying. They've been doing this pretty much most of their lives. And now they're stepping away from it. This was their life. And now they're stepping away from it. That's and the fact that they're talking about it on camera. That's probably one thing I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have talked about it on camera. I probably rehearsed it over and over and over. And I definitely wouldn't have posted the one of me crying simply because it's not about showing weakness or anything. I just don't want to hear the bull crap, like what's going on. Like people making fun of them. It's like, why are you making fun? They're retiring. I thought this was coming out. This is the bottom of the microphone. But yeah, it's just like, can't anyone, especially guys, can a guy just express some emotions about something coming to an end? This is the end of this is a huge chapter in their life coming to an end. Can we just let them have this moment and say, well done and good luck with your future ventures? Again, like I said, I didn't watch them. I don't know them. But at the same time, why do you feel the need to make fun of them? I never got that. Just let them have their moment. Let them move on. Think of it this way: they're creating a vacancy. Maybe you can step up your game and take their place. Well, I still want my game taking place, not right now, because I'm not spending any money. What's funny is I have old cameras, but I think my webcam has better quality than those old cameras. I thought about grabbing them just to see, but then I was like, nah. Because the cameras I have they're not like big and bulky, but they're pretty nice size and they're heavy. So I have two of them, same brand. Actually, I think they were both Sony. One was like a newer model of the other one, but yeah. Then I found my old little digital camera. I'm still going back to camera. I want to buy it so bad, but at the same time, you know what? Nah, because I got my cell phone. I can just take pictures from my cell phone. I saw someone talking about using cell phones as your camera, but the quality of my camera, it's old. It's really old. I just never update it. It works fine. Never had a reason to update it. I got tired of updating my phone, so I was like, I'm not updating the phone. There's nothing new about it other than the camera. It'd be different if they actually had a feature, like an actual new feature. What I mean by that, not an upgraded camera, not new apps, but something so revolutionary, you just got to get it. And that's why I don't get people who buy iPhones. You're buying the same phone over and over and over and over and over, and they're just charging you more money for it, but yet you still go buy it. It's like, I don't get that. And it's like, people are like, if you're broke, just say so. It's like, yeah, but it's been my experience. Most people who have iPhones actually don't have that much money. I'm just saying. That's been my experience. It's also been my experience. People who say if you're broke, just say so, are the ones who are broke. So my response to that would be, if you don't have a job, just say so. But I just think it's funny when people do that. It's like, you don't have an iPhone? No, because I'm not stupid. I'm not spending all that money on a phone. It's stupid. Why would you spend all that money on a phone when you can get a cheaper phone that does the exact same thing? The iPhone doesn't do anything special that no other phone does. There are actually other brands of phones out there in other countries. I would love to get my hands on those phones because a lot of those phones are actually way better than iPhone and Android. But they're not sold in the U.S. A lot of them are not sold in the U.S., which I think is messed up. I don't know why they're not sold in the U.S., but there's a whole slew of phones out there that are way better than what we get. And what's funny is a lot of the phone companies that sell phones in the U.S. make those phones, but they won't sell them here. And I don't know why. It's like McDonald's has a menu in other countries that's completely different from here. And a lot of stuff on the menu, if they sold it here, I guarantee you would sell. But it's like, why don't you sell that here? And it's like, well, the marketing says, well, your marketing guy's an idiot. You have hundreds of thousands of people saying they would buy it. Your marketing guy's wrong. Whoever your marketing person is, they're wrong. If McDonald's sold what they sold in the other countries here, a lot of it would sell. It goes for all the fast food companies that are overseas selling different products. If you sold that same product here, it probably sell. I want to say India. I think Burger King has a lot of vegetarian options. And I believe that McDonald's does too. It's like, why don't you bring that over here? And from what I understand, it's really good. So it's like, if we had those vegetarian options here, I probably would eat more vegetables, eat more vegan stuff. But the vegetarian options we have suck. I remember the first time I had vegetarian meat, and I was just like, never again. And I've had a few things. It's like, it's better. And when they try to talk about steak, making a vegetarian steak, I've had a few of those. It's not steak, so stop calling it steak. It's like, if you could really make something that tastes like, I was thinking about replicators. So technically in Star Trek, everybody was a vegetarian. If you think about it. If you lived on replicators, pretty much you're a vegetarian. But I guess not everyone's a vegetarian because they still had restaurants because in Deep Space Nine, the dad had a restaurant. I wonder how much of his stuff he replicated. If I remember correctly, he didn't replicate anything. All his stuff was organic. But, yeah, the vegetarian, if you think about it, because most of the stuff was produced by the replicators. Meats, vegetables, anything you needed, you used the replicator. One thing about the replicators in Star Trek, they made it seem like you knew it was replicated, but it still tasted good, which I thought was weird. It's like, you think they would have fixed that by now. But yeah, if replicators existed today, I think that'd be awesome. Of course, someone would try to use it to make bombs and weapons, and they do that with 3D printers, so it's only a matter of time. Man, could you imagine someone? I guarantee you someone probably already has. They probably figured out how to make a bomb. It's like, why would you figure that out? Whoever figured it out. I know someone has. I'm not going to look it up. Someone's figured out how to create an explosive device using a 3D printer. Probably you make the device, you pour the chemicals in there, and boom. Yeah, why? But would that really work though? I was just thinking about 3D printer plastic. I wonder how that would work. Because the plastic, anything being blown apart at a high rate of speed can become a deadly object. Plastic bullets can kill you. There was a guy who got shot with the beanbags, but it was pretty much at close range, and it went inside his skull like he had to have surgery to remove it. So, yeah, a projectile object moving at a high rate of speed can become a deadly object. But it's like TNT. Did you know TNT was not meant to be used as a weapon? The person that invented it didn't mean it to be used as a weapon. So that means, let's say I invent the replicator. If I invent the replicator, I would have to figure out a way to lock it down. I mean, truly lock it down to prevent it from making weapons. But here's the catch. How do I get it to prevent it from making components to make a weapon? Like, there are ways around that stuff. Even if you don't make the actual component, you can have it paired up individual pieces. I should have been a criminal because I would have figured out a way around my own invention. But yeah, it's amazing how people will take something and find a way to twist it. The simplest thing is you make a weapon out of it. There are those Reddit stories where they have the humans go and make weapons. There was one, like they had different aliens and they had the human. And the aliens were like, well, we did this and this. And the other aliens, we did this and this. And the humans went, we did this and this. They're like, but your weapon didn't do anything. Wait for it. And the sun goes out. I'm like, what the hell did you do? It's like, well, we took this and we took this and we took this. All that parts and stuff you want to throw away? Yeah, we made a weapon that could do that. And they're like, it's like, they became frightened of the humans. Like, these humans are scary. They're like, what in the world did you built a weapon that can take out a sun? Yeah, we might want to move away, by the way, because that's a black hole about to appear. And they take off and a giant black hole appears. Like, I do like the stories where they talk about the humans. They did what with the animal? They made a pet out of it? It's like, oh yeah, there's one story where dogs came from, basically, where wolves and dogs were unleashed on the planet as animals to kill the humans, but instead they made pets out of them. And it talked about we dropped them on a primitive planet. They live in caves and stuff. And then, like, come back and they did what with them? They made pets out of them. Like, that sounds about right. But yeah, the Reddit stories I really like. The Reddit stories actually inspire me sometimes to do my own short stories. Like I said, I'm going to focus on first getting a cover made for my book, and then I think I'll do that this week and get the cover completed, throw it together real quick. Because it doesn't, like I said, I know it's not going to be the bestseller, but I want the cover to look decent at least. It's a sci-fi, so basically what I was going to have is a picture of a ship on the front, then like swirling space behind it, kind of thing. Or space with like a swirl feel to it behind it, and the name of the book going around it. once I get it all together and find out how to get it self-published, I'll probably do a quick video on it and throw it out to let the world know it's out there, see what happens. I think I'm going to call it quits here. Once again, to everyone who's listening, thank you for listening to me ramble on. But I do feel like I'm getting more comfortable doing this, and I'm going to keep at it. But it was so weird when I realized what time it was. Like, why did I stall for so long? It was, like I said, Shits and Gigs hit home for me with that stuff they were talking about. But yeah, I'm going to call it quits. Thank you for listening. That's my take on this and that. You guys take care.